Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think there may be one thing which probably unites us all on many sides of on both sides of the House for most of us, which is the utterly wearing quality of the debate on which we've been engaged for so long. And so, as a consequence, when we find ourselves being presented with an opportunity that might bring that debate to a conclusion, there's always a temptation to look at it and to think that it could be a way out. And that's particularly the case because, of course, for many of us in this House, although I accept not all, the sword of Damocles of a no-deal Brexit hangs over us. And that sword of Damocles is a matter of huge anxiety, because I happen to believe it would be catastrophic for this country. But the issue that we have to the issue that we have to consider today is whether the offer that the Attorney General and the government has made to this House goes any way to resolving this problem. And in my view, it cannot and does not. The origin of the problem lies, has been so rightly said, and here I find myself in agreement with my right honourable friend, Member Stone, and my right honourable friend, the Member for Wokingham, in the fact that the government set out on an enterprise where it said that at the end, this House would be able to vote not only on a withdrawal agreement, but upon a future relationship. Indeed, page 39 of the Conservative Party manifesto, because I'm sometimes accused of not following it, it said, "We believe it is necessary to agree the terms of our future partnership alongside our withdrawal, reaching agreement on both within the 2 years allowed by Article 50 of the Treaty on European Union." And the problems that the government has had started to multiply when it became clear that that was not happening. Whatever the motivation of different members of this House in rejecting the government's deal, the truth is that at its kernel was the fact that we did not have any ability to make that assessment. That's why the government lost twice on Section 13 motions, and in truth, I suspect, even if a Section 13 motion could be brought back, it would again be rejected for the same reasons. Now the Attorney General and the government say to us that there's a way out of this by which we can agree the withdrawal agreement, get a technical extension, I will come back to that in a moment, to the 22nd of May, and expect in the intervening period to resolve the outstanding issues to the satisfaction of this House. Just in the last week, this current week, this House, finally in its frustration, took control of the order paper because it wanted to debate the alternatives that the government didn't want us to debate. But one thing is quite clear from that debate: the alternatives need time to agree, they need time to work up, and they need time to negotiate with our EU partners. How can that be done in the context of a technical extension that my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, stated at the dispatch box would be there if we reached our agreement merely to implement it? At an earlier date, I said to my right honourable friend, the Chief Whip, explaining my position that if we reached agreement in this House, even if I didn't like it, I would not seek to use the passage of the Withdrawal Agreement Act for the purpose of wrecking it. That's a self-denying ordinance on my part. But it's perfectly obvious, I'm afraid I have to say, that some of my honourable friends and other honourable members in this House have an intention to use the Withdrawal Agreement Act to wreck the passage of any agreement. And I have to say, speaking personally, that if I can't vote on a clean motion to approve a deal, I will be constrained on the passage of the EU Withdrawal Act to be much freer in my opposition. The truth is that it is, I think, most unlikely that between now and the 22nd of May we have any possibility of reaching that sort of consensus, which is why I've been of the view for some time that we ought to seek to extend Article 50 further, if we couldn't, come to an agreement by the 12th of April. And I believe, in just a moment, and I believe that our European Union partners have understood that and would be willing for us to do it. I give way, of course, to my honourable friend.
I thank my right honourable and learned